I wish, our next speaker has actually come up from Mexico. Leanne was from England. She's called Patricia Estrada. She actually is the director of Reich Center in Mexico City and has lectured, taught across the planet. She's a psychologist, organ therapist, a bioethicist, and she has helped and connected with groups. She can find herself everywhere in Europe, it seems. So this is Patricia. Hello, everybody. Hi.
I'm Mexican, so that makes my path a little different than Europeans and people from North America because Mexico and Latin America have a different relation with Reich than Europe and the United States. We don't have this relation about the fear on the carcelation of Reich. That's not part of our history. Reich became known in Latin America like later, or he was known not the persecution was known later. So how Reich started to be known in Latin America? The first thing is Reich give the right to editorial house to print the function of the orgasm and the character analysis in 1945, I think. And it was printed in Argentina and no, in 49, sorry. Mainly because many psychoanalysts dropped Europe and run away from Europe during Second War to Argentina. So many people, these people created the Psychoanalytic Association in Argentina. You have to know the country with more psychoanalysts in this planet is Argentina.
Argentina. And then Ecuador.
But Argentina, they have something like 1 of each 10 people are related to psychotherapy in Argentina. So it's something very popular. Everybody goes to psychoanalysis in Argentina. Just it's a part of life. You don't have to be healed. You don't have to feel bad. You just go because you have to review yourself. So it's a cultural thing. So they in the criteria of being a psychoanalyst in Argentina and all Latin America, including Mexico, you have to read Reich. Still now, you have to read Reich if you want to be a psychoanalyst. So that's particular. And there were 2 guys, then 2 Argentinians, and came to the States in 48. I don't remember the names. Guillermo Ferrari and Alberto Talaferro. These 2 guys participate in the first Orgonomy conference at Orgone. There is a summary of the presentation done by Myron Sharaf. And it's very interesting. They present different kind of cases. But what came to my mind is they were not trained as an orgonomist. They only learned by books. And Stefan Simonian says the other day, somebody who learned by books is like learning to swim by books. Yeah, but it has been done for many, many years, since 49. These guys present themselves to Reich as a organ therapist, and Reich didn't say, you are wrong. They allow them to present the cases. So this is something that is true, what Stefan said, but it's also happening since then. Why? Because it has been a great problem how to teach organ therapy in Latin America. So let me tell you about, well, these guys went back to Argentina. We don't know much about themselves. They wrote many articles that you can find in the annals of the Psychoanalytic Association. And then one of them, Talaferro, wrote a book. The first part is like psychoanalysis, and the second part is a resume of character analysis. And this book became as a, how you say, a mandatory book for everybody who study psychology everywhere in the Spanish-speaking world. But then Talaferro just disappeared from the scene, and also Faraday. Why? Well, we don't know, but you also have to be aware that in this part of the planet, we have revolutions, we have military governments,
Yeah, authoritarian.
we have persecutions. So many people have moved themselves from one country to another to save life, or stop working with some kind of people, and or stop writing. So this is a reality that is far away from the States, right? You don't have that reality. You don't know what it's like knowing that you have to leave your country tomorrow because you may be killed because you think different than the other people. So that's a reality of this part of the planet.
Mm.
But we know there are a few people doing orgonomy, I will say, in general, and few schools teaching organ therapy, mainly in Córdoba, in the north of the country. And they have the same problem all over from Mexico to Argentina. Who is teaching organ therapy? I'm an organ therapist. It has been a big deal for me to become an organ therapist. I have the fortune, and I really think that way, of being born in a place where my father was already interested in orgonomy when I was little. So I have the chance to learn that like in very ordinary basis in my life. So my father became an orgonomist by books. He was a medical doctor, a psychiatric doctor. He was very, very famous because he was very interested in poor people. He used to go outside of the cities with his students to the most poor zones of the country for 1 month, and asking the students to be there, live there, and how you say that, and take care of the people with medical needs.
Wow.
Or so people knew how poor people were living. He thought that we have a very, very, how to say, much fantasy thinking about poor people, and then we are losing contact with others because we have a very small range of movement in our lives. So he was very famous in Mexico, but he also was a guy related to the left wing, to the revolutionary movement, and he went to jail when I was like 7 years old because of that. So after that, he dropped all his, when he came out of jail, he dropped all his political intentions. He was a deputy, and he was about to be a senator when he was in jail. And he dropped all the political things and just went into the psychiatric field. And he opened the Wilhelm Reich Institute in Mexico in 1972.
Wow.
So he started alone his institute, and he started asking people to read Reich and practicing what he read. He wrote to many people in the States. Nobody answered to him. Like 5 years after that, the first, his wife came to the States, to New York, and met Lowen and Pierracos. And they went to Mexico for one time and did workshops. And my father said, that's very interesting, but it's not what I read in the books. So he was like, kind of, this is why if this is the Reich students, they are doing something so different. So he just didn't know what to do with that. Then he had Eva Reich wrote to him, and he was not able to come to the States because he was from the left wing. He will never have a visa to come to the States. So that's why he never tried to reach in person the Orgone therapist. So he invited Eva Reich. She was for something like 3 weeks in Mexico. She was doing some sessions, kind of workshop on orgone therapy. When she was mainly, or she wanted mainly to talk about pregnant women. And that was not the aim of my father. He wanted to learn more about psychiatric orgone therapy, we will say. So he contacted people in Europe. Federico Navarro, then was a student of Ola Ragnes, went to Mexico for 1 month. And he was teaching for 1 month behavioral therapy. And then Gerda Boyensen were in Mexico for 1 month, and she teach what she did, and it's not really behavioral therapy. It's kind of, but it's not. So I'm telling you this because that can give you an image of how people get trained in Mexico. It's a mix of many things. My father was like, I will say, the father of a big generation of people that have all this mix of techniques. And when I was like, I read the first time Reich when I was like 14 with my friends. In that moment in Mexico, it was not only his center, but also many teachers. When I went to high school at 16, we have a teacher that asked us in history class to read Listen, Little Man. So it's the public school in Mexico. It was not a private school, it was not a Summerhill school. So everybody was reading that. We have another teacher to ask us to read The Sexual Revolution of Youth. Youth, you say youth?
The sexual
Revolution of
Youth.
young people. Youth. So in this moment in Mexico, many people were related to Reich in a popular setting, I will say. Even now, people read Reich in the economic faculty of the National University. It's mandatory to read some of the books of Reich in this university, and most universities in Mexico are for free. It's for everybody. So it's very different to the relation with Reich. But back to orgone therapy. My father was teaching for years, and he died in in 1991. It's a coincidence, but he was 60 and he got cancer and he died from that. Yeah, and so we closed his institute because I was 28 and it was many things happening. And I stopped it and think about it, what I wanted to do. I was already working myself as a psychotherapist. And I had the chance in all this time to know many people. And I have the chance to see the work of Chuck Kelly, that was not really student of Reich, but he was working in the lab, or Myron Sharaff. I came to Boston and spent weeks working with him, or I went to see once Eva Reich again, and many people in Europe, like now is not, nobody knows they existed. Like it was a Reichian Center in Paris. It was led by a woman, Arlette Gastin. She said she did Reichian analysis. I was working with her, knowing her. That is erased from the map. They worked like 20 years, and in the moment she retired, is nothing. So I have that chance, and when I was young, my father used to tell me each time I have a question, you have to read Reich again. And it was even a joke between my brothers and I. We have a question, but you have to read Reich again. So I decided I wanted to do as close as I could to Reich's work in orgone therapy. But I was not a psychiatric doctor. I was not a medical doctor. I'm a psychologist. So I tried to reach out. So we invited Bjorn Blumenthal to Mexico to teach vegetotherapy. He was there. And again, I feel like my father, like, yes, but no. I already knew the work of Navarro, and I was very kind and near to him, and he was very kind to me, but I didn't like it completely, his work. And then I went to see Morton sometimes, Morton Herkovitz, and he said, I'm not teaching anything now, so you have to look otherwise. So it was like it is a very hard to learn orgone therapy. Just to think, you have to think about it. But I was thinking, even here in the States, if I'm 25 years old and I want to study orgone therapy, where do I go?
Connie.
Yeah,
Doctor.
exactly. You have to know Connie.
Yeah.
There's no place to go.
That's true.
So I was thinking yesterday then, or since yesterday to today, then it's not only a problem in Mexico or Argentina or Ecuador or Chile, it's a problem everywhere. Where to learn? It's a big problem. I was going to talk only about Latin America, but I think we have a problem. I told once Michael Mannion, and there's a missing generation because there is Reich, and then there is Morton Herkovitz, Dr. Sobi, Eva Reich, and a bunch of people, and there is fewer people. There is Dr. Simonian, Connie, Harry Lewis, Dan Schiff, and then there is fewer people. So we have a problem, NASA. We have a problem. And I don't know what are we going to do, but we should do something, I think.
Mm.
This is part of doing something, in my point of view. And I think we have a big, how to say, a big compromise towards life, towards younger people. Because if the missing generation is not there, so younger people is out there and there is no place to reach out. We are not available. So when we started the Centro Regiano in Mexico, that was our more, now it's 30 years and we started, more big task, how to reach young people. So we started by reading books, write books in an open situation. It means we say every Tuesday at 8 p.m., whatever wants to read with us, you are welcome.
Mm.
For 30 years, we have done that. Since pandemic, we do it by Zoom. So we have read, I don't know how many times, The Function of the Orgasm or Listen Little Man. We even read it loud and ask people to read a piece of it. So we have reached a lot of people. Now because of Zoom, we have people from Ecuador, from Argentina, from Brazil, from Panama, from Colombia, reading with us. And that's how we think that we're, at least we'll move something in people to try to get more knowledge. So now in these many years, we have like a group of fans that are always waiting for the next reading. Some are very young people, and when I say very young people, I'm 64, so somebody of 24 years, for me, it's a very young people wanted to know more. We have training going on. We set up a training like 10 years ago, invited organ therapists from the States. Then we thought they have a, I don't know if a better understanding, but a better practice than we do. We wanted to see different people. And I think, and I really, really think that one people teaching, only one people will give you a very narrow view of the things. So each generation that we have done, we're in the 4th generation, have different teachers. So people from the 1st generation are able to come and see a new teacher if they want. This for this. So we have people from different places coming. We have invited Stefan, we have invited people from Brazil to teach. So this is our project, having as much experience as possible, as different as possible. But we think that we are very far from what we would like to happen. We have worked for almost 30 years with pregnant women. So we do also this part of prevention. Prevention has been very important for us. We believe in natural birth and all that. So about 1,000 births we have helping women to give birth. In that experience, we find out something that become an investigation, case investigation. Something like 30 years ago, a woman then appeared in our place and said, I'm not available, I cannot have babies. I already did this and this and this in vitro 4 times. And I just wanted to be helped to say goodbye to this possibility. So the doctor then is part of our group, is gynecologist, and she's also an homeopath. And so we treated this woman. I doing orgone therapy, and she was doing homeopathic medicine. And in this process of saying goodbye to the experience, she got pregnant. So it was first case of something that we didn't expect. We were helping her to say goodbye to a possibility, and she got pregnant. So it was like surprising, and we didn't know what was it. So in 30 years, we have like 48, I don't remember, 49 cases. 29 got pregnant. So it's more than a half of, with something that you should know is that around prevention, we don't advertise. We don't put things on Facebook about pregnancy. It was just mouth by mouth,
Yeah.
we say.
Word of mouth.
Yeah, people telling other people. So why we don't advertise? I have a question for you. Is if somebody says today, I have $5-10 million, let's do a research on depression and orgone therapy. We need 50 orgone therapists to do a research in California about depression. What you will say?
50, 50?
50.
We just had 50 subjects. 50
No, no.
people volunteering.
50 people doing orgone therapy to follow a research. Where do you get them?
Well, you, at best, you'd have to collect them from people who train with other teachers, people like who do bioenergetics, people who
Yeah,
might.
exactly.
foreign
There are
energetics, people do.
not 50 people
There may not be.
practice.
No, the two.
Exactly,
Two.
exactly. I don't know in other countries. I don't know in England if they say, "Oh, you have 5 million."
Pardon?
There's people doing body-based psychotherapy.
Yes, but orgone therapy, not body-oriented psychotherapy.
Proper orgone psychiatry, there's no there.
Exactly.
But even body oriented, I feel like sometimes there's some progress being made at all that people would even consider that using the body can be effective in psychotherapy. I mean, and that is true, it's like seeds that have been planted, so that people become more accepting. For example, EMDR is now very popular. Why?
Yeah.
Because it's been advertised a lot.
Right.
Yeah.
It's been promoted a lot, but it has to do with your eye movements in the therapy process, particularly for PTSD patients. It's very effective. So it's being used at the VA a lot. There's a very good professor named Bensel van der Kolk, who's spoken a lot about the body. Was it the body? Can't remember. Keep the score.
Yeah.
Great book. He's a wonderful man. I used to work with him actually many years ago. But it's very slow for people. He was slow in coming to the idea that the body might be a useful medium through which he could
Yeah.
practice.
I know him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, it's just to tell you then. Yesterday I was thinking, I'm going to talk about Mexico and Latin America. And yes, there are other schools in Brazil, and some people doing research on orgonomy in Brazil. And but in orgone therapy, in the field of the more of mental illness, I will say,
Yeah.
we have a problem. Probably in orgone therapy in general, we have a difficulty. And I find another difficulty than it's, for example, Dr. Insa in Buenos Aires and the people doing Rosina in Cordoba in Argentina, they don't cooperate. They don't know each other. in Brazil, it's very much the same. They don't cooperate. They know, oh, there is a guy doing that, but there's that cooperation.
There could be now. with
It
Zoom,
could be,
there could
yeah,
be.
but it's not happening.
Yeah.
It could be many things, but it's
Yeah.
not happening. And there is a phrase of Freud that says something about the narcissism of the little difference. That is based on, he said that many people is paying too much attention of the difference, even if we do the same thing. I think that we have been done that in the orgotherapeutic or orgonomy field, being much more aware of the difference and not cooperating. I don't know why. I just noticed that, and I have to say because I think on that very much. I have been very criticized because I can invite, I don't know, Stefan, and then somebody from other school, and somebody will say, "Oh, but are you taking me seriously? Why you invite other people?" And the nasty way of saying, giving an answer is because I can. But indeed is, yes, I can do it that this, but this vision of being a big community and sharing knowledge, it's not happening. So I'm very thankful for this conference because it gave me the opportunity to put questions outside. There are not good answers to this. It's only the work. And when I think in Reich, this love, work, and knowledge, I really think it's true. And it's not true. It sounds very nice. Yes, I know, but do it thinking that your work, your knowledge, and love of that can be shared with others and create a more collaborative work. That can be done if you want that to happen. I very much appreciate the work of Armando, but I was not aware of Armando until 2 days ago. And I can say that I'm a person that have a big knowledge about organ therapy and orgonomy in the planet. I know some people in Australia and some people there, and I have had that opportunity in my life to travel and know people and share and see the work of others. So when I see the work of Armando, I'm surprised and I want to know more. And I think, oh, we should ask him to go and share with this and this and this and this and this, because that's my way of thinking in my responsibility in this planet. I really think that orgonomy, it's important. Even if, as John Lennon says, you will say I'm a dreamer. Yes, I'm totally a dreamer. I don't think, oh, I need to make money for this. I think, oh, I have to be aware of this and I have to share this with this and this with this. I do that work very much, trying to get people together. So that's what I'm trying to do in Mexico, trying to bring as much people as possible and sharing with the community that there is there. Sometimes by Zoom, sometimes in person. Mexico is a very troubled country. Yes, it is because of the narco and political issues. Yes, but I always think there is hope for life and hope for society. And I don't know. That's very much what I wanted to tell you.